All right. All right. After you get your first grade notebook out, you're going to fold it open to the first page. So I see out of 17 first graders, almost everyone has their first grade notebook out. All right. And first grade, the first letter in first grade is F. So I know a lot of you don't know how to spell first grade yet, but you know how to spell the F sound, the F sound, which is F. So you can use that knowledge to help figure out your way around. So first grade, and your notebook has these spirals, these metal rings, which are helpful because you can just take the cover and fold it underneath, and then you can work on the first page. So you're going to need a pencil. Okay. All right. Oh, no, all I asked you to do is get your pencil out. That's all. All right. Hello, Lulu. Hi. Lulu, do you have a piece of paper at home that you can use? If you could get a piece of paper and a pencil, that would be great. All right. Good. So when you have your first grade notebook and your pencil, please give me a silent signal. As a matter of fact, please hold up your pencil so I can see it. All right, good job. Awesome. All right, now check the person next to you and see if they folded their notebook underneath so that it's, yep, the very first page, right? All right. All right, hello, Lulu's getting her notebook, and Jeremiah, or a piece of paper would work. All right, hello, Jeremiah. All right, Jeremiah, for science, can you get a piece of paper and a pencil? Piece of paper and a pencil. All right. So your job right now is to listen and follow directions. So on top of the first page in your notebook, and Lulu and Jeremiah, on top of your paper, first thing you're going to do is write your name. So on the top line, please write your name. So there's my name. Please write your name and your number. Okay. So Jeremiah, you are number 16. I don't know if you knew that. You're number 16. And Lulu, you're number 3, right? So, all right. Good. So please write your name and your number. All right. When you're done writing your name and number, please give me the outstanding number 1 first grade sign. Because first grade is number 1. Yep. All right. Thank you. Even Jeremiah and Lulu are doing it. All right. Thank you. Next, we're going to go down to the next line. And remember in first grade, we used two lines for our words, and we're going to write the date on the next line. So underneath the date is 9. So you're going to use, see how I went almost all the way to the top? You can go to the top, to the bottom. Elliot, could you please clip down for interrupting? And in first grade, we raise our hand if we need attention. But please, Elliot, please find your behavior clip and clip down. Okay. And then if you need help, you know how to raise your hand, okay? So you're gonna write 9, then a dash right on the middle line. Oh, it's okay, Lillian. I see what he isn't doing. Okay. Right, 9-9-20. because today is the 9th month, 9th day of the 20th year. Okay. All right. So, you got your name on the top line, you got the date, the next space. All right, so now the reason I asked you to take out your notebook, and our goal in science today is to understand engineers and the engineering design process. So we talked about this last week, and so I think that most of you heard this. And if you don't remember this, or if you didn't hear it, it's okay, because this is not a test. But what it is I'm asking you to let me know what you know. So I want you to think, and I'd like you to write on your paper underneath the date, what is an engineer? What is an engineer? Or what does an engineer do? You're gonna write by writing a sentence or two, as many words as you can think of that would answer that question. Now here's the rules. Are you ready? The first rule is your first word has to start with a capital letter. And the other important rule is at the end of your answer, you put a period. And another important rule is if you don't know how to spell a word, then sound it out. So for example, engineer. If you don't know how to spell engineer, then sound it out. So this is how you would sound it out. And we are going to learn about sounding out. But I don't know if you remember that you have a reading hand with reading fingers, and you can use each finger to keep track of the sounds in a word. So please get up, just whatever hand you don't write with. So you got your pencil in one hand, take your other hand, and let's sound out engineer. Ready? Engineer, right? So now focus on one finger at a time. What makes it Write down second sound is and j. Yeah, and j. Ear, Lillian, you're writing on your paper, not looking at anyone else. You are not going to get graded for spelling in science, okay? But what we are going to do is we're going to do our best, sound it out. So write 1 or 2 sentences telling me what you think an engineer does. Right? So think about last week when we watched the video of the space station. Okay, now Jeremiah, I'm not sure if I don't think you saw that. So you can just think what you know about an engineer and write what you think an engineer is. There's no wrong answers as long as you're trying your best. Okay? All right, so for this is the camera. I found it tends to work best. It's pointed. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You don't have to do it.
And then,
You'll just leave them up.
yeah. Yep. Okay. Great. Thank you very much. All right. So we're sounding it out, writing what does an engineer do? I'll just come around and see what you think. And the most important thing is sound it out, and then what's the next one? What do you think an engineer does? You think that an engineer hits baseballs, then that's what you do. If you think that an engineer writes stories, then that's what you're gonna write. If you think that an engineer drives a train, that's what you're gonna write. But think, what did we talk about last week? What we're sounding it up. What do you hear? What's the next sound? Good. Engineer. What does an engineer do? If you think that an engineer bakes a cake, then that's what you're gonna write. Engineer. If you think that an engineer drives a car, then that's what you're gonna write. So your first word might be engineer, because that's what you're writing about. Then you have to write another one that tells what an engineer does. And please don't worry about spelling. I am pretty good at interpreting first grade spelling. What do you think an engineer does? Well, we all talked about this last week, except maybe Jeremiah didn't hear it, but you guys were all here. So what did we talk about? Good. What do you think an engineer does? Good. So that's what you're gonna write. So then the next, so sound out. Good. Good. All right. So I'm gonna give you a few more minutes, and then we're gonna share a few ideas. So, all right. So Lulu, Jeremiah, how are you doing, Jeremiah? Good. All right. Thank you, honey. We're giving the kids here at school a few more minutes, and then we're gonna share some ideas. All right. What do you think an engineer does? Miss Honey? What do you think? What's the next sound? You say the word. Engineer. Engineer. Yeah. Oops. Second. Sorry about that. All right. So, all right, 1, 2, 3. First grade. Even if you didn't get to finish writing your sentence, that you have the idea that you were trying to write in your head. In other words, the first part of writing is having the answer in your head, having the idea in your head. So even if you didn't get to finish your sentence, hopefully you have an idea in your head about what an engineer does. So I'm going to pick a name stick from the name stick kit, and we'll just take a few ideas. What do you think an engineer does? Or do you remember what we talked about? So, and if you don't have any idea, that's okay, because guess what? We're going to learn again today. So everyone will hear it today. So Sage, what do you think an engineer does? She said builds ships. Build zoos. Okay. So you said that they build a zoo. All right. That's an awesome answer. Good one. And you know what? There are engineers who build zoos. Absolutely. Good. All right. Let's see if we have another idea. Ian, what do you think? Ian's saying builds all kinds of things. Can you give an example of something that an engineer builds? TV. Yeah. Okay, good. That's also true. So Sage and Ian, 2 excellent answers. Let's see. What else? Oh, Sage already gave us an answer. How about Elliot? What do you think, Elliot? So Elliot said drive trains. Now, there is a job that some people do that is called an engineer, and they do drive trains. So there are engineers who drive trains, but that's not the type of engineer we're talking about. We're talking about the type of engineer who's like a scientist who, well, builds things or invents things. So let's see. So I'm glad you said that, Elliot, because now you probably taught a lot of us that we're not talking about the engineers who drive trains. We're talking about the engineers who are like special scientists. Adeline, what do you think? They fix stuff. All right, good. That's true. All right. William, what's your guess? Build machines. Yeah. Wow, you guys really good. Jeremiah, did you want to share your idea? You want to tell us what you thought? No? Okay. You can still keep writing. That's all right. See, what about Simon? What do you think, Simon? All right, they build stuff. So have you noticed that almost everyone's answers are kind of similar? Lucas, you should only have one pencil. Lucas, put the other pencils where they belong. All right, and your eyes are forward. You're not learning from goofing around. All right, so everyone who answered had an answer that had something to do with making things or fixing things, right? So Sage said they build a zoo, and Ian said they build things like a television, right? And William said they build machinery, and Adeline said they fix things, and Simon said they, say that again, Simon, what did you say? They build things, right? So those are all right. So if we put them all together, what we come up with is engineers solve problems. When they make something or they fix something, they are doing that to solve problems. So on your paper, this is what we're going to write. So this is a capital E, and this is how you spell engineers. So you could just write this on your paper. 3 words. Engineers, finger space, solve, and then I'm going to go to the next line. Problems, problems. And I'm going to put a period at the end. All right, so I'm going to make sure that Jeremiah and Lulu can see that. Let's see if you can see that, buddy. I'm not sure if that's visible to you. No, not really, huh? Hold on a sec. Let me hold it up. All right, engineers solve problems. Bear with me, Jeremiah, while I'm going to set up a stand to put the camera on. Yeah, we'll try this. All right, we'll use a Kleenex box. I'm going to be like an engineer. I'm going to solve this problem. All right, so let's see if that works. All right, now can you, all right, let me see here. Engineers solve problems. Oops, almost. All right. Engineers solve problems. Engineers solve problems. Engineers solve problems. What do engineers do, first grade? Solve problems. All right. There. That's all right. Is that getting better? Engineers solve problems. Can you see it okay now, Jeremiah? All right. That's Jeremiah's desk. All right. So engineers solve problems. All right. So when you are done writing that sentence, make sure you have a period at the end. Here's the period. Engineers solve problems. When you're done, can you please give me a silent signal? All right. And I'm going to come around and take a quick look. Good job. Good job, Austin. Lucas, how we doing? Are you writing engineers solve problems? All right, let's see. Engineers solve problems. Looks good, right? Looks good. Are you writing the sentence? Probably the directions are at the top of the sentence. Engineers solve problems. All right. All right, so first grade, if you finished writing that sentence, you can put it away. Put the notebook away. So the way you put the notebook away is you fold the cover back and you put it in your desk. On which side are you going to put it in? Left side, right? All right. Now, if you're still working on your sentence, you can do that. All right. But I'm going to have to show something else on the smartboard. So if you're still writing, you're going to have to finish up by sounding it out on your own. All right. Good. All right. So then if you're done, your notebook should be in your desk, check. All right. Now we are going to, Jack, are you done? Close your notebook, put it in your desk. All right, now we're going to watch a video about how engineers solve problems. Because in first grade, when we are acting like engineers, we are going to use the same method that engineers use to solve problems. So I've got actually two short videos we're going to watch about engineers and the engineering design process. All right, so let's see. All right, so I gotta bring this up. I'm going to bring this up for the kids in the school. Kids at home they'll be able to see the screen, and here we go. So good listeners are silently focused. Here we go.
Engineering. Let's take a moment to think about your morning. The alarm on your phone goes off at 7.
Oh, I should have told you before we started. I was so excited, I forgot to tell you. This video is not made in our country. This video is made on the other side of the world in the country of Australia. And so you'll notice that the woman who's talking, her accent's a little different, but that's all right. she's still talking English and she's talking about engineering. And engineering is the same whether it's in our country or another country. So, and it goes a little fast, but try to follow along. I think you'll enjoy it.
7:03. You drag yourself to the shower and blast yourself with perfectly warm water in an attempt to wake up. You smear your toothbrush with too much toothpaste and scrub yourself into a foamy mess of minty freshness. You're running late, so you skate downtown, weaving through the commuters, dart across the road, barely making the lights, and jump on the train just before the doors beep shut. There's a couple of stops to go, so you pull out your phone and play a few games of Angry Birds. Alarms, trains, traffic lights, video games, toothpaste, all these things were made possible by engineers. But what prompts an engineer to improve our world? Well, they solve problems. Problems are an engineer's inspiration, and maths and science are the creative tools they use to solve them. Problems like making your alarm go off at the right time, or making sure your toothpaste has just the right balance of chemicals to give you that perfect smile, or even making a game so addictive it's almost impossible to put down, if that really is a problem. Now let's head over to the airport and jump on an aeroplane. Aeroplanes. They're so easy to take for granted. But don't forget, you can fly. Before aeroplanes, flying was quite a bit more challenging. Every bit of your plane has been touched by engineers. A mechanical engineer designed the engine. A mechatronics engineer devised the controls. The fuel? Extracted by mining engineers and refined by chemical engineers. The navigation systems? Electrical and software engineers created those. Yep, a whole team of engineers. Now we've landed in Dubai, home of the Burj Khalifa. It's the world's tallest building at 829.8 meters high. It's also in one of the world's hottest environments, reaching up to 50 degrees in summer. One of the difficulties of building the Burj was trying to figure out how to set 45,000 cubic meters of reinforced concrete in such extreme weather. The solution? A clever method of pumping iced liquid concrete into the 55,000-ton steel frame during the night. The result? A building that's vertically over 800 meters high, rather than horizontally all over the ground. Now let's jump into our time machine and go back to Saturday. Saturday, March 1932. The Sydney Harbour Bridge is about to open. The bridge is a marvel of civil engineering and a pretty cool place to set off some fireworks. Since 1815, people had been talking about building a bridge to connect the two sides of the harbour. The problem was that the harbour was so incredibly wide. How could a bridge span such a width and support its own weight? The solution? The Romans. Well, actually, it was an idea they came up with. The arched bridge works by transferring the weight into horizontal forces and bracing them at the ends of the arch. But what about the future? What problems will engineers solve next? Will we finally have affordable solar power? Or robots that can perform life-saving surgery? Or a building that's so tall your view is out of space? Or how about finally engineering a working hoverboard? Seriously, we've waited long enough. So what is engineering? It's solving problems. It's taking crazy out there ideas and seeing if they're actually possible. And when they are, the idea is shared with the world to make all our lives better. So, what problems do you want to solve?
All right, so that is from the country, that video is from the country of Australia. And hold on, I'm going to, sorry. All right. All right, so we're back. All right, so we engineers solve problems, and we are going to learn how they solve problems starting next week when we have our next science class. And we're going to learn more about the process they use. And then I'm going to give you a problem to practice trying to solve. So Lucas, I see you're not with me. Please stay with us. Okay. So I am going to give you a problem and I'll give you a hint. It's got something to do with marshmallows. All right, so that's something to look forward to next week. So next week when we have science, we're going to learn how engineers solve problems, what the process is, and then we're going to practice it using a few different materials, one of which is marshmallows. So I think you'll enjoy that. All right, but for now, we're going to pause, and it's actually almost time for religion. Okay, so first grade, I'm going to ask you to hang tight while I talk to Jeremiah for a second, and then we'll get ready for religion. So Jeremiah, I'm going to pause this video, and then you can come back for religion. And then Jeremiah, I want you to know that tomorrow we're actually not going to have science, and I'll email your mom about that to explain why, okay? All right, so you can come back to the video and to Zoom in just a couple minutes, okay? We'll see you, buddy.